Ciao ragazzi, welcome to the Sal-E-Boys Podcast Network. We have a new guest this week we're extremely excited for. My grandmother, can I call you Eva? Is that disrespectful? Eva. I know, but I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to be. So Eva's here, Eva Buongiorno. Go ahead and say hi to everybody, Grandma.
Hello, everybody.
And then we have my mom, Michelle.
Hello. This is my mother. I'm just.
In case you couldn't tell.
Answer it.
There's nobody.
No, just hang up. Nobody calls the house anymore.
That's weird. I haven't heard a house phone in a long time.
Yeah.
And then Sal's here, of course. So we were planning on going back on the Sal-E-Boys storyline, talking about the building and the pizzeria.
Oh my goodness.
Just hang up. Pick it up, hang up.
Yeah, just press the
Pick
silent
it up
button.
and then hang up. Answer it and then hang up.
Should we start over?
The only
No,
reason
no, it's fine.
The only reason we had that is for the alarm.
This is very
And we have backup anyway on the cellular. So.
very authentic. We're not going to tell you that we're perfect. We're amateurs at this, so sorry about that, listeners. So yeah, we were going to talk about the storyline of Sal-E-Boys because where we picked off in the story, we were like late 90s, early 2000s. But when I found out that Grandma was going to come over tonight, I had to hear her story. I'm sure you guys would love to hear this. So
You rolled out the red carpet.
yeah, exactly. So we don't have a whole lot of notes on this, so it's going to be very organic, and let's just see how this goes. So, Grandma, you grew up where?
I grew up in Bensonhurst,
Bensonhurst, which is Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
Okay. You don't have any family in Italy, or where was?
No.
No. So you're a New Yorker. Through
My
and through.
father was born in New York City.
Oh, really?
So was my mother.
Oh, okay. Okay. In Brooklyn or more Manhattan style?
New York
Okay.
City.
Oh,
Yeah,
in the city.
Manhattan.
Lower East Side.
Okay. Okay.
But tell them about Grandpa.
He was sent back to Italy.
When
He was raised in Italy.
he was born in New York. My grandmother, I never met her, but she didn't like New York.
Okay.
And so she wanted to go back to Italy, and she did. And my father he went back to Italy, and she took the kids, and she went to Italy, and he didn't come back until he was 17.
So he basically was raised in Italy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know that
He spoke with a broken English.
Yeah,
He had an accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he might have been born in New York.
But he was Italian.
He grew up
He was
he grew up
pretty
in Italy.
Italian.
Yes.
He was as Italian as they get.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
else?
All right, next question. No, I want to know about, because like earlier in the podcast, we talked about how Brooklyn was for my parents growing up, but how was it for you growing up?
Well, we lived in a house that was all by itself. There was no kids around. There was nothing. And
Is that the one by L&B Pizzeria?
Yeah, there was no
She
house.
lived by a chicken farm. I know, 'cause
wasn't-
I was in the same neighborhood.
No, the chicken farm was down
Down the
further.
block, but the chicken farm was there.
Down further.
Yeah, on the same block.
Actually, in my mother's first apartment, when I was born right there at the chicken.
The
near
chicken farm. But the chicken farm was right there, and
Yeah,
that
Lavodi's,
block. Yeah.
Lavodi's. Yeah.
That area was very underdeveloped.
There was nothing.
Yeah, very
Campania. It was a
underdeveloped.
country.
That was
Yeah.
close to Coney Island. That was the
My
people went. And,
father used to grow all kinds of things in the yard.
yeah.
You know, it was tremendous, a big place.
Very so.
Is this like they went to Brooklyn because it was the country? They lived in Manhattan, so
And
they
so that was the
moved
s-
away from
Yeah.
the city
Yeah.
to go to the country.
So all my aunts and uncles used to come every weekend.
Really?
And my father used to say, Vambada is coming, which means the whole group. And I don't know how she used to cook for all those people. That was a lot of
They
people.
would go because they had the biggest place.
Yeah, so that's
They all lived in
Yeah.
apartments in
tiny.
Manhattan. They went there in Brooklyn.
But
had
they
the
all
biggest
used to
place.
go when they moved. Then they moved from that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we moved, when I was 10, we moved to 78th Street, which was more,
so not suburb. It was more closer
More
to the city.
developed. That was
Oh,
developed.
I felt like we were rich.
That was developed. That was developed.
We had the kitchen table on 86th Street was 2x4s with 2x4 legs
Wow.
and the linoleum on top.
So it was a farm. You invented the farmhouse chic.
Yes, I was born. We had no living room. There was no 2 chairs that matched.
That's worth a lot of money today.
And
That's worth
when
a
you go
lot
to a
of
furniture
money.
store now, they sell dining rooms with no 2 chairs
Yeah.
match. So
I know.
there you go.
I'm like,
It's insane.
what the heck?
Well, that's pretty funny that when you grew up and in a place that had nothing, and then when you guys moved to
Yeah, then
New
they had
Mexico,
nothing.
it was the same thing. It's like you grew up and you had
And then
nothing.
we
So you,
came back.
Repeat.
We came back to nothing.
yeah. So it's pretty interesting. You guys got to see where you lived and
Yeah.
all your roots were developed
Yeah.
into what it is now.
I guess that's
And now
interesting.
Brooklyn's like its own animal, and I'm sure
Yes.
if you
Yes.
ever go back, it's totally different.
I know.
When was the last time you were back?
When my sister died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
It's been a while.
It's all hipsters now.
I know.
It's all hipsters.
Brooklyn is now the hipster
All
place.
hipsters.
yeah, well,
That neighborhood now has turned in. It's diversity. It's like flipped. The
It's
Italians,
Chinese.
the Italians all moved out. The Chinese all moved in. I went to where we lived in 78th Street. We went back, and every single store
was written in Chinese.
Chinese.
That's what America is.
Yeah, America's
It's
a
the
melting pot.
melting pot,
And
right?
then like cyclical. Everybody cycles in. They
Mhm.
make a few bucks,
So
and they
what's
move on.
over
Better.
there with the Hollywood Terraces? I mean, yeah, the Hollywood Terraces.
All those stores on Utrecht Avenue have Chinese signs.
Wow.
So, you have a unique story. You were married how long with Grandpa Mike?
5 years.
5 years. And then he passed away. And in that short 5 years, you had how many kids?
2 kids.
2 kids. So you had 2 kids and you were a widow.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
so
27.
and 27
A
years
year
old.
older than you.
Imagine. Imagine.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that?
So tell me about it, because I'm sure we have some listeners out there that might be going through the same thing. Were
It
there?
was very heartbreaking. I never went back to our apartment and just stayed on my mother's couch. I wanted nothing to do with her, nothing to do with Patty. I just stayed on the couch and cried all day long. It was very bad.
So who helped you during this whole?
So my mother and sister, they took care of my kids, and
But you said that there was a life-changing moment for
Yeah,
you.
that's what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying. So my mother said, either get dressed because Aunt Connie's coming with Aunt Grace. Now,
So Aunt Connie, explain, is your mother's sister.
they're both my mother's sisters. And my mother said, either get cleaned up, fix yourself. Because, I didn't do nothing. I just laid on the couch.
Yeah, you were depressed.
Yes. And so this aunt of mine, her name was Grace, she was beautiful. They used to nickname her Glamour because she always wore big hats and she always looked beautiful. And she married a man that was just despicable. He was terrible. When he showed up for his engagement, he almost didn't come to the engagement party.
Oh my
That would have been a kick in his ass for me. I would have kicked him out. But anyway, I remember it very clearly. He was so drunk when he came in. And so I know that he didn't treat her right. So I do remember that when she walked in, I said, oh, Aunt Grace is coming, let me see, because I hadn't seen her in forever. When she came in, she was scary looking. She had all gray hair. She was all long hair. She looked like a witch.
Yeah, complete 180 from what you're used
Yes, so scary, so scary. And I looked at her and I said, Eva, this is the moment to look at her and say, get off that couch and do something. And that was on a Saturday. And on Monday, I got dressed and I went to Manhattan and I applied for Kelly Girl Services, which was you work for companies. You don't
Like a
work,
temp agency,
temp
right?
agency, right? And that's what I did. I worked.
to. Wow.
Yeah. it
So
was-
that's amazing that you learned from. I mean, not other people's mistakes, but you saw this is where
This is
I
your
possibly.
future.
Yeah, this is where I could end up.
Yeah,
And so you
yeah.
snapped it.
And
And,
I was like, oh my God, my kids are going to be really bad off. I better fix this right now.
and you were able to make it work.
I did. They watched my kids, and I was very happy at that moment to do that.
Mhm.
To have an income, and I'll never forget. So I wanted to tell. Now Uncle Patty was 5, and she was 9 months at that time. And I said to Uncle Patty, okay, sweetheart, do you remember when Daddy used to go to work? And he would come home and he would bring the money. And I said, so now I have to do that. He said, oh, okay, so then you're gonna split it with me.
Oh my god.
Even at that age.
Anyways, so that's crazy. So then how long was it working, raising 2 kids, and then when did you meet my grandfather, Pop?
I didn't meet him till 8 years later.
Oh, okay. So you were doing that for a long time.
Yes, I
She always had a job.
always had a job. And
She used to drive a yellow Camaro.
but it was brown before.
Oh, it was this color that we don't know if it was brown or green.
No, you don't know.
I think it was the same color as my car right now,
Yeah.
which is like a brownish, greenish color.
Yeah,
So the car, tell them, you tell the story. Do you remember the story?
about the paint.
Yeah.
Somebody threw a gallon of yellow paint
Oh.
all over my car. I'm like,
Like vandalism.
what the hell is that all about?
And you left it?
No, and then she
No.
said, wow, it looks good that color.
So you brought it to the body shop and they painted it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a black leather top, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And
Vinyl roof.
yeah, it looked beautiful.
It
That's
looked
fun.
good, yellow.
That is funny.
So,
And one time we lost it in the snow. That's how bad it snowed.
yeah, it was all covered. Couldn't find
We
it.
couldn't find a yellow car in the snow. It was bright too, not like a subtle yellow. It was yellow.
This yellow,
More than that.
yeah.
So you moved. So okay. So I want to talk about how long did it take you to be not back in the dating game, but like so when you met
Oh,
Pop.
I didn't go out for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then finally I said, okay, I'll go out. And
But you had a checklist, didn't you? Have a checklist?
I had nobody to go out with. Okay, well, everybody was married, so
Yeah.
my cousin Carol, she's younger, and I called her and we went out, and so the fun thing about this going out, you know, I didn't want to lose her as a going out partner, so I wanted to make her happy, do whatever she said. So she said, so I picked her up. We were in Manhattan. That's where she lived, and she said, okay, we're going to go to this place called Maxwell's Plum. I said, okay. We went, and I have a drink in my hand. She has a drink, and so a guy, you know, we were talking, and he said, listen, do you want to go to a party? I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Let me ask my cousin if I want to go to a party. So here we are, just picture this, that Fifth Avenue, I think it was. And, okay, let's go. And she said, yeah, of course, yeah, we'll go. Now, she said yes because she didn't want me to be upset. And I said yes because I didn't. So now we're walking across with these 2 guys, and we're walking across Fifth Avenue with the drinks, and we go to this apartment, and it was beautiful. But there was a lot of people there.
Oh,
So-
Fifth Ave. It's popping now. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
popping
But
back
it was a
then.
beautiful. It was a company apartment. So we went, and there was nothing going on. It wasn't bad at all. That was really taking a chance, you know.
Mhm.
But there was nothing, you know. People just talking,
Hanging out. Yeah.
hanging out, and so I'm sitting on the windowsill of this apartment, looking over the East River, and the guy says to me, now I had a black and white check suit on. And the guy said to me, did I ever tell you this?
No.
The guy said to me, do you know what I feel like doing with you? And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God, what is he going to say? He said, I feel like playing checkers.
Please tell him.
Outfit?
I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I said to him, listen, I've been out of the dating game a long time. I have no idea what you mean. And he says, your outfit. At that point, I said, Carol, I think it's time to go. And we left.
I was hoping that was my grandfather. That wasn't.
No.
I thought that's how you guys met. Ah.
She did have a couple of boyfriends.
Yes, I did. I did.
Let's.
But we don't
Wanna
need to
name some names?
No, we don't need to talk
You're
about
not
that.
gonna
No,
offend anybody.
doesn't matter though.
No,
That's
don't
not part of the
matter.
story. I
Yeah.
can care. I don't care.
But
about
I remember
that.
one guy, Joe. I
Joe.
remember Joe.
Yeah.
That was a memory.
Yeah, he was very nice.
It was
but
nice. Not for you.
No, it didn't work.
Okay.
It didn't work.
So I'm pretty sure you had a checklist of if I'm gonna marry a guy again, he has to have this,
so
this,
now,
this,
now, 8 years pass. Okay,
this. Mm-hmm.
and
It's a long time.
it was. And so,
We were having a great time, and we were having a nice life.
yeah, every weekend I take them
I
somewhere.
didn't even know we were supposed to be unhappy or poor or. I'm like, the only thing was Father's Day at school. Like, I didn't know who to make a card for. That's the only thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everything was nice. We had a nice life.
yes.
But I didn't know we were poor. We were poor.
We were poor, but
Yeah.
not that poor.
So you made a card for Uncle George.
Well, I would
Or your
alternate.
grandfather.
I would make one,
For all
for
of them.
whoever, grandpa, I would
Yeah.
alternate.
In fact, it was the first Thanksgiving. The first Thanksgiving when after Mike died, my sister said, Eva, there's a basket on the table for you from the church. I'd come home from work and there's this basket. I'm like, what is this? There was a turkey. There was you
Oh,
name
wow.
it. It was in that basket. And I'm like, what is this for? And they said it's from the church because you're a widow. I called the church. I said, listen, I don't really need this. No, you keep it. You keep it. And that was the turkey we made for Thanksgiving.
Oh wow. Wow.
So, I always ate with my mother. What did I do?
Let's explain this though, because we lived, when she left the apartment that she was married and she never went back, my grandparents, the house that they bought on 78th Street, was what they call a two-family house. So it's an apartment on the bottom and the
yeah.
same mirror image apartment on the
Yeah,
top.
so you lived in the basement.
No, we lived
No.
on the top.
Oh, nice.
We lived on the
We
top,
had
and they lived
extra-
on the ground level.
Mhm.
There was a basement, but that was for, the washing machine.
Typical Brooklyn. You get
Yeah,
married, you move upstairs. And when your kids get married, you go down in the basement, they go upstairs. And everybody stays in the same house.
Yeah,
But
it
the
was,
way it
at that time, that's the way it was.
Yeah, that's.
There
I
was a
don't-
lot of us
Yeah.
in that house.
There was a lot
Yeah, a lot
of
of
people in the
people.
house.
Holy
Forget it.
moly.
But we had our own apartment. We weren't always,
Yeah, you had your own little living area,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It
you were.
wasn't little, a lot of rooms.
We had a piano room.
Oh my god.
We had a piano room.
Oh yeah.
We had a, what's the other room
The
next
other
to
room
that?
was like a
Sewing
sewing
room.
room, a sewing machine.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
was her room, and then the living
And then the
room,
two
and then
bedrooms for the
kitchen,
kids, or the.
and then the
There was
bathroom.
3 bedrooms.
Oh my
Bed-
god.
We had a playroom, and Patty had a room, and I had a room. It was a big place.
It was very big.
Should have stayed.
So,
The checklist. I want to get. Yeah, that's true. I want checklist because I feel like this is cool.
so now,
What's the checklist?
I know she keeps.
Give us the
I,
checklist.
I threw her off. I'm sorry.
You want to get the checklist?
get up,
I know the checklist. You want to tell the checklist?
So now, a friend of mine used to drive the school bus. And he was my friend forever. He was my girlfriend's boyfriend, but they never got married. Anyway, so Julie would come and my
His
mother...
name is Julie. It was a boy.
Oh,
Don't get
okay.
confused.
Okay.
So my mother called me and she said, Eva, come down, Julie's here. All right, go down. Hey, Julie, how you doing? Good. My mother says, Julie, can't you find a boyfriend for my daughter? And I said, Julie, don't listen to her. I don't want nobody. I'm good. I'm very good the way I am. And he said, oh, but I have a good guy for you. I said, listen, Julie, this is what I want. Made up a quick checklist. It's gotta be Italian. No kids. Own business and a Cadillac. He said, we pick you up Tuesday.
Grandpa had all that
All
stuff.
the list.
That's
He
amazing.
had everything.
That's
And
amazing.
so I was like, oh no. Oh, and the other thing he said, the only thing he's a little older. I'm like, oh God, okay, it's gonna be old man.
Yeah.
So comes with this big gold
A
Cadillac,
Fleetwood.
Fleetwood, that you have the footrest in the back.
They're like the size of this kitchen.
Yeah. And so we got out of the car. How are you? Nice to meet you. Get in. All right, we got in, and he starts singing in Italian. I went, oh my God, this is a keeper. This is a keeper. And the four of us went out. We went for drinks and stuff. And it was very lovely. It was very nice.
Yeah. Well, clearly you married him, so it worked. Must have been nice.
Well, he was kind of hard, but it was okay. It was okay. Then he, I would go to work, right? And he'd come to the house and he'd bring bags of groceries, put it on the counter, put everything away, start cooking. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I never saw anything like this. Loaf of bread this big. We don't need all this stuff. Listen, this is what I like to do. I'm like, okay, do it. Another time he came, he says, I was ironing in those days, we used to iron. And he called and he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm ironing. Okay, get ready, I'm gonna pick you up. I'm like, no, you can't pick me up, I have my kids. I didn't say only you, I said the kids too. Get the kids ready and we go. And we used to go to the diner.
The diner.
And have coffee
And they used to have the coleslaw in the little paper cup.
yes.
That was the best.
Then the waitress used to say to her, oh, you have blue eyes just like your daddy. And she used to go like this.
Funny.
So I want to talk about both my parents. So we'll talk about my mom first. So
One more thing, let me tell you.
Okay, go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
then
You're
she-
having fun now, right? You like this?
Yeah, she was in the Girl Scouts. Right?
Oh, yeah.
The brownies. And
Brownies.
so they had a father-daughter dinner at the Hollywood Terrace across the street. And so she said, Mommy, what am I gonna do? I don't have a daddy. And I said, that's okay. I said, maybe you could ask Andrew to go with you. So she said, okay, so. She said, Andrew, would you call me to the father-daughter dance? I said, of course, sweetheart, of course. So we were at the table eating and she would pull his arm. Can I get a piece of bread? She didn't know what to call him.
So she'd grab him. She'd go like this.
That was my first
She'd
time.
go like
that I-
this, excuse me. I got a piece of bread.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
that was
adorable.
the first time I had, now I'm gonna sound food obsessed, but, what do you call it, honeydew with the prosciutto on top.
Oh, I don't know what they
That
are.
was the first time I had it. I never saw anything like it. It felt so glamorous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay, so you go ahead.
Well, okay, so I want to hear one story about my mom when she was younger, growing up in Brooklyn. What type of trouble did she get in, or what did she do
Well,
good?
she was little, so she couldn't get into too much trouble. But she used to go around the corner with the bike. And Patty used to come up and say, do you know where your daughter is? And I'd say, no, where is she? She went around the corner. I said, well, go get her. And then every Friday we would go eat Chinese food, and I'd tell them to meet me at the train station because it's on the corner. And I would come down and we'd go in the Chinese restaurant right there. And she would go all over the chair, looking all around, you know. And Patty used to have a fit. Look what she's doing now. Look what she's doing now. Get that kid. He was so obsessed with her that she was doing the wrong thing. So I do have one more little thing about her. So after we moved here, I walk in and I hear her saying, no, I hear Patty saying, I'm gonna tell Mommy, I'm gonna tell her. So I walked in and I said, well, what is he gonna tell me?
He's
No.
blackmailing your mother.
It's
He's
all my stories
blackmail.
have to do with Patty.
He's blackmailing
Well,
her.
he's your older brother, he's taking care of you. But she said, Mommy, please, 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 don't beat me, don't hit me, don't hurt me, you know. And I'm like, just tell me what happened. And she said, but it's not my fault, it's Karen's fault. I'm like, now who's Karen? We have no Karens. She said, my cousin. I'm like, that's in Brooklyn. How could it be your fault, her fault?
Over here in New Mexico, yeah.
She said, well, she made me do it. And so tell what happened.
I smoked a cigarette. So, because we all lived in the same place, I walked into the bathroom and my cousin was smoking one of my grandfather's cigarettes in the bathroom. And so she pulled me in because I saw her. Caught her in the back. She pulled me into the bathroom and closed the door. And she's like, she shoved it in my mouth. She's like, yeah, now you did it too.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, and then my brother knew about it.
Blackmailed
I
her for
know.
years.
Oh, but that's kind of my fault because I was kind of then bragging about that I smoked this. It was like in third grade, I was smoking. So on the block, I kind of, the word got
Oh
out that
my
I
gosh.
smoked a cigarette, but I didn't even, I just took a puff of the cigarette.
That's why you would ride your bike around to go
No,
smoke?
I just like to get away. But, so he blackmailed, so that, I smoked a cigarette in third grade, and I don't even know when this was, like
You moved
fifth
fifth
grade.
You moved to your fifth grade.
And this was, I had to be in middle school, so 6, 7, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I was pressing his pants,
Oh my
cleaning
God.
his room, doing all that shit because I smoked a cigarette. Seriously.
So it sounds like Uncle Pat was the kind of a bully to you.
I came out and I came out and I beat the shit out of him.
Good.
I didn't hit her.
All right, so let's talk about. So you guys move here, and my mom brings this guy around.
No, I didn't bring the guy. You know the story. She met him before
Oh,
me.
that's right. That's
That's the
right.
story, right?
So just give me
We're
first
verified.
impressions. Give me first impressions of Sal.
She's been a novena from the minute she met me.
Shut
That I
up.
would marry her daughter.
Yeah,
You
and
know it.
you were sitting on the floor in the family room
Yeah, but that was afterwards.
and he was like this.
But that was after you
Watching.
met me. When
Yeah,
you
of course.
met me, you were like, oh, he'd be a nice boy for my
Nice
daughter.
boy.
Yeah.
Very nice boy.
Yeah.
But he was smoking
I
us.
smoked in the kitchen, her kitchen. Drinking coffee, smoking. Back then, everybody smoked.
yeah.
All your friends smoked in your house, too.
Yeah.
Mary,
Yeah, I
Gina.
smoked, my grandpa,
Pop.
Pop used to smoke he used to have 3 cartons of cigarettes.
Not in New Mexico though.
In New York, in that Fleetwood, he had cigarette cartons, not packs of
And he
cigarettes.
gave me a carton and he said, put this upstairs for me when I come. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
How many packs in a carton?
And they were
Ten.
Benson and Hedges.
Yeah, the big ones.
Extra long.
So she didn't mind me smoking.
Yeah.
So
But the impression was she likes him.
Yeah.
Now, not so much.
She loved me. She loved me. She didn't like it. She loved me.
I don't like him now, but
She loved me. She did start praying from the minute she met
oh
me.
please.
You know it.
Your mother did the prayers.
Yeah, bullshit. You know. Tell the truth.
Anyway,
Hey,
well,
no.
happily ever after. Here we
Yeah.
are.
That's the matter.
None-
So tonight,
Look what came out of that marriage.
Now,
Grandma comes over all the time. It's not like a special occasion that she's here. But, so we have a little family text, and Sal put on the family text that he was making pasta a la Pop, which is Grandpa. He used to like to make pasta with
cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
And then you do the toasted breadcrumb on the top.
It was delicious.
So we made it today. And Grandma came. She didn't really like it. But she had to come
No,
tell
I
her.
liked it. It was good.
In honor of Pop, she had
In
it.
honor of Pop, she had to
I'm
come.
surprised you didn't put hot pepper.
No, I knew you were coming. She don't like hot food.
Well, so how was your first podcast experience? Did you like
It was
this?
very nice.
It's nice, huh? Okay, so I'm gonna end it unless you guys have
No,
any
we're good.
open-ended.
We're good,
Okay,
good.
so don't forget to like this, subscribe it, share it with one another, and yeah, thank you guys for listening.